Pain gives birth to learning, and this is not merely a poetic phrase. It is a truth etched into the very fabric of existence. It is a wisdom handed down through the centuries from the ancient Greek sages who saw suffering not as punishment, but as a path to illumination, to maturity, to strength. When we are comfortable, when everything flows easily, we rarely grow. We enjoy the moment. Yes, we may even feel fulfilled for a time. But true transformation comes not in the ease, but in the challenge, not in the pleasure, but in the pain. For it is pain that stirs the soul. It is discomfort that awakens something ancient within us, a primal will, a sacred drive to rise, to understand, to become more than we were think of. The athlete in training day after day. She pushes her limits. Muscles burn. Lungs, scream joints ache. And yet she continues because she knows the pain is the sign that she is growing stronger. The pain is not the enemy. It is the process itself. It is the tutor, the invisible hand shaping her into the person she longs to be. Or think of the writer who sits before a blank page, ideas swimming in chaos, the pressure building, the frustration rising. He doubts himself. He struggles to find the words, and then suddenly, like lightning breaking through a storm, the words flow, the clarity comes, the message is born. The pain of wrestling with meaning gives way to insight and creation, and something beautiful emerges. This is the truth. Pain gives birth to learning, not the kind of learning that fills your head with facts, but the kind that expands your heart, that deepens your soul, that opens your eyes to things unseen. This is the learning that matters. This is the learning that liberates. The ancient Greeks knew this. They understood that every noble thing in life was born from trial, from labor, from some kind of internal fire. Heraclitus said, "Character is destiny, and character is formed in adversity." Aristotle taught that excellence is not an act, but a habit, and habits are forged in repetition, in difficulty, in facing resistance over and over again. Imagine for a moment the seed buried in soil. It is confined, it is in darkness, and yet within, it is the potential for life, for greatness. But first it must break. It must split open. It must undergo a kind of death before it can reach toward the light. That breaking, that cracking open is painful, and yet without it the tree would never be born. So too with the soul. You cannot become who you were meant to be without being broken open in some way, without being humbled, without being tested. It is through the storms of life that we discover what we truly believe it is. In our heartbreaks and our failures, that we uncover the strength we did not know we had. Pain teaches us the truth of things. It strips away the illusions, the false comforts, the masks we wear. It leaves us raw and real. It makes us ask the hard questions. Who am I? What do I value? What will I fight for? What will I let go of? And it is in that rawness that clarity emerges, not all at once, not with fanfare, but slowly, steadily, like dawn rising over a cold landscape. It is quiet, but it changes everything you see. The human spirit was made for more than just survival. It was made to awaken, to ascend, to reach for the divine. And pain is often the invitation, the doorway, the push that gets us moving when we would rather stay still. Do not despise your pain. Do not run from it or numb it or pretend it is not there. Instead, sit with it, listen to it, ask it what it is trying to teach you. What part of you is ready to grow? What truth have you avoided? That pain is now forcing you to see, for every scar you carry, there is a lesson that shaped you. Every disappointment carved new depths in your soul. Every heartbreak widened your capacity to love more wisely, more fully. Every failure taught you what success alone never could: the importance of humility, the strength of persistence, the value of compassion. And this is not just poetic philosophy. It is the pattern of life. You will see it everywhere, in nature, in art. In history, the greatest men and women were not those who avoided pain, but those who faced it with courage, who used it as fuel, who allowed it to break them and remake them into something higher. Socrates drank the hemlock with peace because he had already made peace with pain. He understood that the soul mattered more than the body, that truth mattered more than comfort, that living well meant being willing to suffer for what is right. Marcus Aurelius faced illness and betrayal and loss, and yet he wrote words that still light the path of millions. Why? Because he embraced pain as a teacher. He knew that everything outside our mind is not truly ours, but what we choose to do with it is where our power lies. And Epictetus, born into slavery, rose into wisdom, not by escaping hardship, but by learning from it, by refusing to be broken by it, by turning inward and finding freedom where no chains could reach. This is the invitation before you, not to glorify suffering, but to recognize its role, to see it not as the end, but as the beginning, to honor it as the gate through which transformation enters your life. So, if you are hurting today, if you are lost or weary or confused, do not despair. You are in the middle of something sacred, something ancient, something that millions before you have walked through and come out stronger on the other side. Let your pain speak. Let it guide you not into bitterness or fear, but into clarity, into action, into courage, into the quiet strength that whispers you are becoming. Pain gives birth to learning, and learning births power. Not the loud kind, not the kind that dominates others, but the inner power, the peace, the knowing that whatever comes, you can face it, you can stand, you can endure and even rise. This is the way of the Stoic, this is the path of the philosopher, this is the soul of the warrior, and it is already inside you, waiting to be awakened. The pain you feel now is not your enemy, it is your ally. It is the catalyst, the crucible, the call to rise higher, to dig deeper, to become the version of yourself that the comfortable version could never imagine. So embrace it, learn from it, grow through it, and one day you will look back and see that the pain was the greatest gift. It was the teacher that shaped you, the fire that refined you, the storm that cleared the path for your light to shine. Pain gives birth to learning, and from that learning comes a life of depth, of strength, of purpose, of power. Do not fear the pain. Welcome it as the beginning of your awakening, as the birth of your wisdom, as the dawn of your true self. Because in the end, pain is not the end of your story. It is the turning point, the chapter where the hero rises, where the transformation happens, where the soul awakens. And you, my friend, are that hero. Your story is being written, and the pain is just the plot twist that makes the ending all the more glorious. So hold on, learn deeply and rise stronger, because pain gives birth to learning, and learning gives birth to a life worth living. A life of wisdom, a life of strength, a life of soul. Embrace the pain, embrace the learning, and awaken your soul. The journey through pain is not one of destruction, it is one of creation. It crafts you into a being of greater compassion, greater resilience, greater understanding. It teaches you to see the world not as a place of random cruelty, but as a school for the soul, where every lesson, no matter how hard, is designed to bring you closer to your true self. And in that closeness, you find not just peace, but power. The power to navigate future storms with grace, the power to help others through their own, the power to live with a depth that shallow comfort could never provide. Pain is the great equalizer. It touches every life, rich or poor, famous or forgotten. But it is what we do with that touch that defines us. Some let it harden them into bitterness. Others let it soften them into empathy. Some let it break them. Others let it build them. Choose to let it build. You choose to see it as the raw material for your greatest work, the chisel that shapes the statue, the pressure that forms the diamond, the fire that purifies the gold. because you are gold, you are a statue waiting to be revealed. You are a diamond in the rough. And pain is the tool that brings out your brilliance. Do not resist it. Do not run from it. Instead, welcome it as a teacher, as a guide, as a gift, wrapped in discomfort. And as you do, you will find that the learning born from pain is the most valuable kind. It is the learning that stays with you, that changes you, that makes you unbreakable. So to those in pain right now, know this: you are not alone. You are not defeated. You are in the midst of birth, and what is being born is a stronger, wiser, more compassionate version of you. Hold on to that trust, the process. Embrace the pain, and let it give birth to the learning that will light your path forward. Pain gives birth to learning, and learning gives birth to a life of depth, of power, of soul. Awaken your soul through the wisdom of pain, and live the life you were meant to live. A life of strength, a life of wisdom, a life of purpose. The end.
If you felt inspired by our journey through the Hellenic horizons, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.